Welcome back to the Stovetop. Tonight we're having steak for dinner, and red wine pairs well with steak. So I thought this is the perfect opportunity for me to do a review on Big Bold Red Nebraska from Cellar 426 in Ashland, Nebraska. This is a medium dry red wine that is 13.5% alcohol by volume. It's aged with oak, and it has bold aromas of cherry and blackberry. I visited Cellar 426 Winery for the first time on my recent trip to Nebraska for Thunder on the Prairie 2024. At the winery, there's a bar that you can go up to with a sign behind it showing all of their wines. There you can request to try out different wines before you purchase them. They didn't charge me a fee, and I think I tried out 4 or 5 different wines. I didn't check out the entire winery or go through the vineyard, but there is an area inside where you can sit down and enjoy a glass of wine. As far as food that they offer, the only thing I saw was cheesecake. They might have more than that, but a nice piece of cheesecake with a glass of wine sounds like a good time to me. So if you're in the Lincoln or Omaha area, if you're traveling down Interstate 80, they're not that far off of the interstate. I definitely would recommend stopping in and checking it out. They do have a wine of the month special where they have whatever featured wine it is, they sell it at a lower price, but you can only take advantage of that if you visit the winery. Although you can order online and have the wine shipped to you, and I'll include a link to their website in the description section below, that monthly special does not apply to online orders. All right, before I open the bottle, I'm going to go ahead and describe it. Now, this is take 5 of this part of the video. This is what happens with me when I'm trying to make videos. I either flub a line, or I think of something that I could say better, or I realize that I'm maybe too wordy. I try to be very specific and descriptive in my videos because I get retarded comments that reflect that I maybe skipped over something, but I also get really good comments on my videos where somebody says, "Thank you for explaining this the way you did, because I watched 26 other videos on it and they didn't explain it in enough detail that I could understand it." Now, the reason I describe the bottle of wine or maybe something else in the video as opposed to just going on with the video is because there are some people in my audience that may be visually impaired. They may be blind. So this kind of helps them to visualize in their mind what I'm talking about. This is the way I want to do my videos. If somebody else doesn't do it that way, I don't care. This is my channel. These are my videos, and this is the way I'm going to do them. So that being said, the bottle of wine has a label on the front that has a maroon border and a black background. At the top, in small maroon lettering, block lettering, it says 2023. I'm filming this video in 2024, so I guess the wine is vintage, whatever. The next down in bigger block lettering in white is big. Then in smaller block lettering in maroon, bold. And then in white block lettering again, red. And then underneath there is the outline of the state of Nebraska in maroon with smaller white block lettering over top of it that says the word Nebraska. Underneath there in maroon block lettering is Cellar 426. And underneath there in small block white lettering is Nebraska dry red wine. So they've got a really nice label here on the front of the bottle. On the back, the label has the same maroon border and black backdrop, but then inside it's got a white backdrop where there's some information about the wine and winery and that sort of thing. And there's the address and that sort of thing. The website's there at the bottom, cellar426.com. Above the address on the back of the label, there's a chart, and from left to right, it goes dry to sweet. So this is in dry, and the maroon colored arrow that's pointing down is right in the middle of dry. So that's how you know what you're getting when you look at one of their labels. So let me get this black protective covering off the neck and the top. There's a little tab that's kind of in gold, like most other bottles of wine. Just kind of get that to stick out a little bit and give it a peel. And then take off the top cover and you can see the cork. Now I realize this adds 3 minutes to the video. And for some people, they're like, just get on with it. And I had been trying to make some of my videos shorter But it's my video. I can do what I want. So if I want to explain it in more detail, so be it. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch. All right, let's go ahead and pour a glass. I've got my Cellar 426 winery glass here. I picked up there when I was visiting. It says established 2012 on their logo on the front, and then on the back it says a wine for everyone. And I'm putting that on my stone Cellar 426 winery coaster that I picked up while I was there. For those of you who like to visit wineries, if you've never purchased a wine glass at one of these wineries, you might want to just inquire as to the price. Sometimes they're cheaper than wine glasses you can buy at a store. So now you've got something with a logo of a winery that maybe you enjoyed a really good wine at, or you visited while you were on a really good vacation, but you've also kind of saved some money because you're not really going to notice it unless, of course, you break it on the way home. Most of these places will wrap it up in paper and package it up really nice. As a matter of fact, if you get a couple bottles of wine and a couple of wine glasses, they'll probably give you a cardboard case to put your wine in. So if you're on a road trip, just ask for it. They'll go in the back and they'll get you one, and they'll package everything up really good. So at least in my experience at all the different wineries I've visited, I've had them take great care when I've purchased bottles of wine, wine glasses, coasters, you name it. So it's just something to keep in mind. In some cases, these are fairly inexpensive. All right, so now that I've added 5 fucking minutes to the video, so much for keeping it short, let me go ahead and give it the smell test. I've already tried this out. I just had a little sip of it while I was there, and it was enough to make me think that it might be worth bringing home. So it's a red wine smell, but it's a little bit, there's something to it. It's a little bit earthy. So it is dry all throughout, but this isn't the driest wine I've had. I've had drier Chardonnays. It's it's got a bold red wine taste. It's not too strong. It's not. I mean, even though 13.5% alcohol by volume is pretty strong for a wine, as far as the taste, it's not too strong. This is kind of a, I wouldn't say right down the middle kind of red wine, but it's not like, for example, there's supposed to be cherry and blackberry in there. Maybe a little bit of cherry, but for the most part, it just tastes like a really decent red wine. This is strong enough that I think it would pair well with a well cooked steak, but it's something that I don't know that I'd recommend to somebody to have stand alone. I think this is one of those wines where you definitely want to pair it with a meal. So even though I'm having this at room temperature, and that's the way I prefer to have my wines, unless they're fruity wines, I think I'm going to put this in the fridge and save it for dinner. So most of the videos really been about how I make my wine review videos. Most of the videos been about visiting Cellar 426 in Nebraska. But the long and short of it, if you just went ahead and went to the end of the video to find out what are my impressions of this, or what are my final thoughts. If you like red wine and you want a decent red wine to pair with a meal, particularly something like a steak, then I would recommend Big Bold Red Nebraska from Cellar 426. Thanks for watching.